Hey there, welcome to the Dental D. I'm back from taking the exam, and I want to use this as an opportunity to reflect a little bit on the experience. It's not completely unlike anything that I've experienced before. However, I have to say that I was surprised by some of the questions, and not in a bad way. Questions were worded a little on the tricky side. And there was a lot of anatomy in there, surprisingly. So you owe it to yourself to really hit hard on the anatomy portion when it comes down to your study journey. Now, I was pretty spot on with the information that was provided in the study guide for the infection control, and also on the practice test. But I do want to give you guys more. Because I think that if you have very limited foundation in the book part of it, I think it can stump you. It really can stump you. Again, I teach this stuff, so I know the booky way of how they're wording it, and I can kind of look at how they're putting things together and know where they're going with it. But those of you who have limited experience with the information, you kind of just shooting the dice on this one. And I don't want you to go in like that. I want you to go in confident. I want you to go in prepared. If you have already taken your exam, I would love to hear what your experience was, because every time or every individual that takes the exam, they have different question types. So someone may have a bunch of pictures where another person may have a bunch of questions where it's multiple choice. They still weigh the information the same, but how they actually display those questions can be totally different from test to test. So those of you who have taken the test, please drop your comments down in the comments section and let me know what your experience was. What stumped you, or what did you feel most confident about, or what completely caught you off guard. This is a community. I don't like the thought of people just kind of fishbowling this thing and just kind of just looking and taking. We're all in this together. And that's the whole point of me taking the test, is so you guys can see that I am willing to come on your side as an instructor and actually experience what you're experiencing and go through that process and put money on it. Now, back to what I just endured. Okay. So I took this exam and it was interesting. I was really surprised that they had quite a few questions where they were asking how radiation is made. This is, again, just typical stuff. And it's all covered, their exam outline. However, the way that they ask the questions can just goof you up. So if you don't know what you're doing, or if you're not really paying attention and thinking through the questions, then it can goof you up, because the answers are not easily process of elimination. Now, if you want to know as to why that is and all of that, check out my other videos. The questions were hitting on all of that. So they did not hold back on questions involving radiation, the types of radiation, how the radiation is made. All this information is important for you to review to prepare for this exam, because that was my experience when I just took the exam. Now, I know that there are quite a few people that have or are watching these videos, and not everyone is looking to take the DANB exam or prepare for any type of radiology testing. There are quite a few educators that are out there. And those of you that are viewing these videos, please take the opportunity to educate yourself so you can be a better educator for your students. I think that this is really, really, really important. I take this test periodically so I can stay current in how they're wording the questions, so I can better prepare the students prior to taking the exam. That's what this is all about. I urge you educators out there to do the same. You are doing your students an injustice if you are standing in front of them day in and day out and you're teaching them, but you're completely clueless as to what's on the exam. And that's why we have a lot of the problems that we have with these students that are finishing up these programs, and they're coming or they're entering the field completely ill prepared to take the exam, and they're spending their money to take the exam when the educator has failed them. Now, again, there are amazing educators out there. I know you're out there. I've worked with plenty. There are also individuals that have taken the exam and passed by the skin on their teeth, and they're standing in front of other individuals calling themselves teaching them the material, and that completely undermines the students' confidence, and they think it's their fault or they're not doing something right, when really they just were never taught or trained the correct way. So that's enough about that. I'm just putting this out there for you educators. We owe it to our students. We owe it to these individuals that are looking to, make entry into the dental field, to properly prepare them. And so again, that's the whole point of these videos, is to provide students and individuals that are looking for entry-level employment into the dental field as much information as possible to better prepare you for the process. What I would like to see is for you guys to share your journey, to share information, to share your questions in the comment section, so we can really kind of get a discussion going here, for you to get questions answered. Because trust me, every single person, with the exception of the educators out there, they're looking for the same information you're looking for. Everyone's in the same boat. Thanks for listening. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I will be back with my test results. Can't wait. Ciao.